So, welcome, guys. Today I'm joined by my main man, Brandyn Shoemaker here, and I'm finally coming to you from beautiful Bohol, from the tropics in the Philippines, my wife's home country. So, bear with me. I hope that my connection will stay fairly consistent. But we're gonna deep dive with Brandyn here today and hear about your journey so far, man. From well, yeah, go ahead and if you would give a short introduction about who you are, kind of what your background is, and at least, maybe for the last year or a couple of years since you've come into contact with me and with Sterling Heroics and the Hero Foundry, what you've been working towards, if you.
Okay. I think it's about 3 years ago now that I stumbled upon Thrilling Heroics. But before that, I've been a Bellman for about 10 years. About 10 years now, I've been in hospitality as a bellman and valet and a little bit of front desk. But I got to the point where I decided I wanted to have a little more freedom, a little more control over my time and my finances, not have to depend on anyone for money or for time, just been family and things like that. So started looking around online to figure out what the other options are, which that eventually led me to find Cody on Thrilling Heroics right about the same time he was starting a MasterMind. So I signed up for that, got on a little call with Cody, little interview, and he accepted me into the MasterMind. I think there's about 20 other people in the MasterMind, but that's what really kickstarted my journey into online business and everything like that. Back then, I was doing physical products. I was trying to sell my first company. It was heroicdad.com, and I was trying to sell a backpack for dads. I guess a diaper bag for dads. And I was going the FBA route. I did private label. I worked with a manufacturer in China. Got a couple of samples sent, but never went anywhere with it. And that kind of got me down, so I kind of took a break from that, and then I eventually started a company called Buddha Performance. That was kind of a joint thing with my wife, and we were trying to sell a yoga storage rack for like yoga mats and straps and everything you need for that. Did the same route, FBA, got a couple samples sent from China, but we were actually ready to pull the trigger, get the main shipment sent to us, but we ran numbers for a few days and we realized we weren't going to make any money. We'd be lucky to even break even with that project. So we pulled the plug on that and took a step back and tried to reevaluate things. And then that's about the time. A few months after that, Cody announced his the MasterMind that we just finished with Dwight. So I signed up for that, got on board with that, and then I started a service business. I started out as web design, doing websites for businesses, and now I'm kind of transitioned to the copywriting. I've got a few copywriting clients now that I'm working with and trying to get retainers for. And that's pretty much where I am now, trying to build my client business and trying to get clients. And I'm one step closer to the freedom I was looking for 3 years ago.
Well, yeah, man, and what's great about you is the wealth of experience. It may not go deep in any of those areas, but I've been really proud over the last few years to watch you experiment in very diverse areas, both you and your wife Carrie.
Thank you.
So I think that's given you a good foundation to build upon, even though you've had your troubles and setbacks, and
right.
You may not have had something that's taken off in a huge way yet, but that's given you a really great firm grounding in a lot of different areas. And now it's great to see you, focus, like double down on the service, and I think you're honing in on something that you're quite passionate about and developing the talent for. So what we started. Brought you into our weekly mastermind call with my partner Dwight in July, right?
Right. Beginning of July, yeah.
We've been going for, I think, a little over 3 months now.
Mm-hmm.
And dude, you have, like, the great thing is, I mean, you literally went through like a hurricane there in South Carolina, and you had all kinds of like pretty extreme yeah, setbacks and obstacles,
Yeah.
you know, that come
Yeah.
along. But I've been really impressed, yeah, just to see your you've made astounding progress, I think, in just in a quarter of a year. You know, I sent early, I think last
Thank
week
you.
we because Dwight has been traveling to Silicon Valley for the Santa Clara University accelerator program he's in, and because me and my wife and my son have been moving back here to the Philippines, we all had a pretty convoluted week, and we didn't get a chance to touch base together last week. But I did give you guys some prompts, you know, and some things to think about last week. Did you get an opportunity sometime over this last week or so to look back at the the 90-day goals you set with us at the beginning of this program, and to kind of think about to review, like which goals you nailed or surpassed, and which ones you didn't reach yet, but overall to get a good feel for how far you've come over these last 3 months or so?
I did. I didn't have a lot of time, but I did take a couple minutes to go over some of the goals, and I'm satisfied with a lot of them. Health, I'm really satisfied. I did a good job keeping up with workouts and stuff like that, which is one of my main goals, and keeping up a good diet. So I'm satisfied with that. And then a couple of the other ones, mindset, I'm still working on, trying to get the meditation and all that stuff down pat, get a routine going together for that. But I do, just now recently, I've been trying to get a lot of clients, and I'm actually getting a lot of work and a lot of opportunities to work with copywriting clients. So that goes hand in hand with the wealth goals I had and the freedom. I guess it would go along with that. So I'm making decent progress. I think I'm satisfied with the 3 months we've had so far, but I just want to keep building on this and keep compounding the success I've had so far, I guess.
What's the big change that you've seen, over Q3 here this year, that maybe surprised you, or have you been able to kind of break through any at least mental barriers that you felt like you were stuck with before?
Definitely. Actually, yeah, like I said, just recently I've started getting more clients, and I think that's because I finally got over my fear of rejection, my fear of failure that's been really bogging me down since the beginning. I've actually just worked with a client I was trying to get a retainer for, but I did the job for her. She decided she didn't want a copywriter right away for her business, but normally that's the type of thing that would crush me and get me down, but I took it as a learning experience. Still got a job out of it. I got a little bit of money out of it, and I learned along the way. So now I'm just going to keep on moving. So I think that's been the biggest thing for me, is just not caring, I obviously still care, but not letting every little setback get me down, and just keep moving forward, and just more confidence in myself.
Yeah, I feel like from my side, I feel like I've been watching you really make leaps and bounds, in just becoming a hunter, I guess, and slowly but surely developing those chops as far as, cold outreach and selling yourself, which is,
Right.
It's a necessary skill for all of us,
Yeah.
entrepreneurs or freelancers, anybody who's trying to do their own thing, whether it's running a business or offering freelance services online.
Right.
So yeah, I think you have done a tremendous job particularly in that area.
Thank you.
Do you think that, what do you think maybe has been the most, what's helped you the most in that area? Because you really have impressed me, like your ability, just to power through. And I see you, like you say, like even when things don't go the way you might want them to, I've noticed in you that change where, you take it in stride, and you're kind of able to see the silver lining, I guess,
Right.
But like every day, every week, you've been powering forward, no matter what happens. What do you think is the biggest thing that has unlocked that ability for you?
I think it's just, I finally realized that no matter what happens, the time is still going to pass, and we, we're all only guaranteed a little bit of time, so we've got to use the most of it. We've got to make the most of it. So I finally just realized that sitting around and feeling sorry for yourself isn't doing anybody favors. It's not doing any favors for me or my family. So it's just, I just realized I'm doing no good for anybody if I don't have confidence in myself, if I don't keep trying. So I think a switch just went off in my head that I just have to keep moving no matter what happens. I'm glad it finally went off.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So last week, I did ask you to really think and meditate on kind of your purpose and your vision. So I guess I want to start by asking, do you think with all the journaling that we've been doing and a lot of the prompts I've been dropping to you guys over these last few months, have you been able to get considerably more clear on at least like your why, like what drives you?
Yeah, I think I've always kind of felt this way, but for me, it's my wife and my kids. It's just family. I want to just give them the absolute best life and best chance at success that I can, and I want to be a good example for my kids. I want to be a good husband to my wife. So it's what pushes me to work hard. It's what pushes me to succeed and just do all I can, because I've got people depending on me, people watching on me. So that's what keeps me going.
So have you been able to, get clear by this point on a real vision for the kind of future that you would ideally like to see for yourself and your family and your sons?
I think, like I started out saying, it's just freedom. I want to, like, if my son's having a basketball game, I want to be able to go watch the basketball game. I just want to be free to make the best choices for my family and for us. I don't know what exactly that looks like right now. I haven't thought too much about it, but I just want to be. I don't want to be tied down by anything. I don't want any restrictions. I just want to be able to live.
Well, yeah, and for anyone who tunes in for this later, big congratulations again, Brandon, because you just this week pulled the trigger and you booked tickets for the whole family to come out here and join us in Asia. We'll be meeting early January in Thailand, actually, on the beach for a 5-day immersion experience, and you guys will be hanging out for about 3 weeks with us, actually,
Yeah.
and we got all kinds of fun things planned. But thinking about this event we have, this leadership retreat, and your time that you'll get to spend with us out here in Southeast Asia soon, do you think that you have like a nomadic future in store as a family, or are you looking at this as as a test along those lines right now, or do you think that you're pretty happy kind of geographically, at least where you are right now?
I think that we're kind of using this as a test, see how all the airport stuff goes and that kind of thing. But I definitely think, I don't think anybody, me or Carrie, really want to be tied down to any one spot forever. I don't know if we want to travel like constantly, but I think we want to roam, and we want to check out as many places as we can, and we want to show the kids as many places as we can. And we've looked into world schooling the kids and that kind of thing. So it's definitely, yeah, I guess semi-nomadic, I guess you could call it.
Yeah, well, I mean, and I got to say, we've only been back here in Asia for about a week, barely. But already, I'm just, number one, of course, we're in the Philippines, so it's great. My son is grandma, but I definitely can say over the last 4.5 years since he was born, I think, yeah, just exposing him to so many different places and different cultures, different languages, meeting all kinds of different people, like and then I did compare that obviously to like a good solid year plus in California, like with we got most of my family there, and so that was a great experience for him to have as well with his grandparents in America. But I had in mind to really look at what's the best future for, sorry, I thought I muted myself. What's the best future possible for him, you know? So yeah, we wanted to give a real thorough look at, especially the education system a year, you know, and he experienced. I mean, he's only preschool, but I still feel in my soul like I know that most of his growth, he's a dangerously smart kid. You know, he's he's smarter than me. He scares me. But I really credit his mom firstly, but also just the exposure to so many different experiences over the last several years, and so I'm excited, you know, just seeing him get to kind of get that experience again. That's the cool thing about travel, you know, as you every day you're crossing paths with all kinds of different people from every strata of society and obviously from different cultures. So yeah, I mean, I'm really excited to see how that impacts your sons, you know, even over a short span, you know. I think it'll be a great experience for them.
Right. Yeah, I can't wait to get over there. I can't wait to get them in it.
Is it, remind me, is this your guys, I think you said it's the first time Carrie's flown overseas, but is this your first international trip?
I've taken one prior to this in college. I went to I spent about a week and a half in Germany and then a weekend in Spain, which was amazing. It's just I think that's what really lit the fire under me to begin with. But
very cool. Well, so yeah, I mean, you know, throughout the course of this 90-day challenge that we've done, and just the mastermind group we have going every week, and within the Foundry in general, you know, one of my biggest focuses, obviously, as you know well, is doing everything I can to help you guys reflect, you know, self-reflect, and giving you questions that you may have never thought about before, just to you know, that's the best way that I can help you grow, is by just helping provide a little outside perspective and prompting you, pushing you, sometimes kicking and screaming a little bit, but like you know, insisting like, well, look at it from this perspective, or think about this, you know. So when you started this time around, you know, when you came to, you know, the Foundry's a new project really, so you know, before we started you know, you've been basically my first, I guess, you know, coaching client with this new program that I've been slowly putting together and tinkering and fine tuning. But before we really got going this last 3 months, can you, if you're able, like, do you think you can think back, you know, before we got started, what were some of your biggest fears, or I guess, doubts about, you know, what you thought was possible for yourself, for your career, and, you know, any other self-limiting beliefs that you've been able to identify that you think that you've kind of surpassed already at this point?
I think one of the biggest fears I had coming into this was, you know, the goal has always been to quit the job and work for myself, but I think the biggest fear is being able to do that. You know, quitting your job is kind of scary because it's all on you at that point, and you're 100% responsible for everything that happens. You have no boss to blame, no coworkers to blame, so it's all on you, and that can be pretty scary, pretty intimidating, and something that I had to slowly accept that I'm capable of doing, because it's always been the goal of mine to do it, but I've never really accepted it as a possibility until very recently. Probably the last few weeks, I've finally give myself enough credit that I might be able to handle this. So I think that's definitely the biggest obstacle I've had to overcome. And I think the weekly hangouts and just accountability and hanging out with guys who are doing it and can do it has been a huge factor in getting me over that hump.
Yeah, I mean, even for me, you know, I started this game 10 years ago, crazy enough. I can't believe it. And then, I mean, you know, truth be told, I think you know well by now, like since I became a father and had to figure out that whole situation,
Right.
which was very messy at the outset. Like we've gone through a lot of challenges, and then we had like some family problem, things going, like my mother had cancer and all kinds of things.
Right.
I mean, to be honest, yeah, my life fell apart in the last 2 or 3 years, and I kind of had to rebuild myself, which at times was the most painful experience of my life. But so I mean, you always get better, right? In one way or another as life goes on.
Right.
But yeah, even me, like at this point, I mean, I think it's been 12 or 13 years since I started, doing freelance services online. But it's been 10 years since I left the country, left the States, and moved overseas. And even that far into it, it's like, time and again, I have realized, yeah, when I get in a pattern where I may be isolating myself a little bit, yeah, or not seeking out, like-minded people to meet with regularly, like say, that's when I suffer. If I don't have, yeah, the accountability of at least a few other guys who are, not just kissing my ass, but like challenging me.
Right.
And willing to call me out at least once in a while when because the toughest thing about being your own boss is, well, yeah, you can't rely on anybody else to give you marching orders.
Right.
And it's easy, we all we all screw up, we all feel lazy sometimes, and sometimes it's easy to indulge oneself, right? So yeah, just like even for me, I mean, it's just as valuable for me having you and Dwight and Ian to keep me accountable on a regular basis and to often give me some perspective, So again, thank you for being part of this from the beginning, and it's been a great experience for all of us, myself included.
Definitely, I've enjoyed all of it.
So, I guess rebuilding oneself, which is what I've been doing for like 3 years now. Do you feel like you're starting to, recreate yourself or reinvent yourself or rewrite your story a bit by this point?
I do. I think it's finally, the transition is finally happening where I can see myself, I guess, kissing the old life goodbye and starting the new life, fresh. I think, if you asked me even 3 months ago when we first started this, if I would even make it this far, I would have thought you were crazy, because I came into it with nothing, and I've finished 2 jobs. I've got like 4 or 5 things in play right now that I'm working on. So it's still, even thinking about it right now, it's still hard to believe I've got everything lined up that I have, but it's been good. It's been great. I'm glad I've finally pushed through everything that's been blocking me before. So it's been really great.
Well, yeah. Do you feel like there's, do you feel like there's a new personality almost, or a new, a new you, a new, are you feeling like almost like you're beefing up your self-identity?
Definitely, yeah. I've got a lot more definitely. I've got a lot more self-confidence now, and I take things in stride a lot better now. I'm not letting things bog me down and put me under, I guess. Like I said earlier, I'm not letting every little failure set me back a week or two. I'm just taking it all in stride, and that's something I've never done before in my life. So I'm definitely some major changes happening.
I remember, this time around, it's obviously a lot more kind of one-on-one and a lot more supercharged, a lot more structure to what I'm doing than when you first encountered Thrilling Heroics, I think, years back. But you joined, one of my early. Sammy, I gotta say, I did start MasterMinds in college in 2006. So I've been doing this for a while, but they keep getting better and better. But yeah, you were on one of my first, Thrilling Heroics. I think we did a 90-day challenge starting in 2015. And I
Yeah.
remember that the Brandyn Shoemaker that I first got to see, and
Yeah.
interact with, and just, I mean, I've always been very fond of you, but yeah, I remember how kind of a little shy and
Oh yeah.
quiet and
Yeah.
timid you were back
Yeah.
then. And yeah, you're
Yeah.
like I would say you have definitely come out of your shell, and that's what, I mean, I've just been really excited to see how, like I said earlier, it's like you're a hunter now, man.
Yeah.
And seeing your weekly report this week, it looks like you're on fire.
Yeah. Yeah. That first mastermind, I think I mentioned this in one of our meetings before, but the first time I had to get on video in that first mastermind, I thought I was gonna throw up all over myself. I was so nervous because I was a shy kid. I was a shy adult, so I'm extremely introverted. So this video stuff was something I've never liked and I never thought I would do. But slowly and surely, I've gotten over it, and here we are.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's been really cool to watch. Kind of you're blossoming, I guess.
Thank you.
Would you like? You're speaking of which, have you ever? Do you feel like your kids notice a change, or has your wife said anything?
I think maybe Aiden, the oldest one, he's a little more present, I guess. I'm not as distracted with everything and not letting things weigh me down, like I said. And yeah, I'm definitely more present. I'm definitely more cheerful and happy. I'm not as grumpy, I guess, not as much of a temper because I'm stressed and letting little thing stress me out. So he's probably noticed. I don't think it's anything he could vocalize at this point, but I think he can probably tell a difference. And
Yeah,
Carrie, yeah, definitely.
yeah.
She might be lying just to make me feel good, but she's definitely talked to me about it.
They can do that sometimes, can't they? Like in a good way.
Yeah.
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 But yeah,
I
I
trust
mean,
her. I believe her.
have you seen much fruit, in that area in the realm of relationships
Yeah,
over
I
the last few
think,
months?
yeah, kind of like the same stuff with Aiden. I'm not as stressed, so that kind of thing can bog down a relationship as well. So communication's better. I'm talking more freely about things, and yeah, everything's benefiting from this. Everything.
Cool, man. Well, I'm so happy that, yeah. I mean, it's all you, dude. I mean, we've been here to support you and encourage you, but you have really been kicking ass and taking names left and right. So
Thank you.
congratulations, man.
Thank
You've
you.
worked hard and you've earned every bit of it. So
Thank
yeah, and I
you.
cannot wait to finally shake your hand in person.
Yeah.
And welcome you guys out here to Asia soon. And I know we're gonna have just a blast when we all get a chance to actually co-work, in person,
Yeah.
like, lengthy period of time and really bond together. So I'm really
I
looking forward
can't
to
wait.
that.
Me too.
Let's see. So real quick, let's get down to brass tacks. I want to know, if you had the opportunity to think about those prompts this last week, what would you say are? I mean, you've made all kinds of progress, but I guess particularly in the area of kind of getting your business kickstarted and your overall goal with us from the outset of this mastermind group, which was, yeah, basically to gear yourself up to quit the job soon. What, concrete achievements, what are the biggest achievements you would say that you've made, towards that goal so far? How many clients in are you now? It sounds like this last week you got like what, 3 or 4 new prospects already,
I think, yeah. I finished 2 clients already that are pretty much completely done, and then those are both website clients. And then since then, I've got another website client that I'm working with, and then I think I've got 3 or 4 copywriting clients that I've just got in the last week. And actually, one's it's kind of a retainer so it'll be monthly, weekly work, consistent work from here on out, which is really good. That definitely helps put me closer to leaving the job. So I think, yeah, just the biggest thing is just actually getting clients and getting work and getting the ball moving.
Right. Well, and so tell me about this. One of your bullet points from this week is about Donovan Digital Solutions. Tell me about that. It sounds like you've got, something at least something reliable starting up
Yeah,
here.
that's I posted a little, just I did it on a whim, a little ad on a job board on Facebook offering my services as a copywriter. I had a few responses, and one of them was from the marketing director from Donovan Digital Solutions. That's basically an inbound marketing company. They do a lot of content creation for other companies. So he reached out to me. I sent him some samples, and we got on a call, and ended up getting a I guess a full-time, not full-time, but a part-time gig with him writing articles for his company. Gonna right now, just starting out, is gonna be one article a day, 5 days a week, paying decent money for each article. So it's consistent work that can last from here until I either mess up or I'm either done. So that's a huge help in just getting experience copywriting, getting even more experience copywriting, and getting some income, and being able to show other clients work that I've done.
Well, that's awesome, man. That's excellent.
Yeah,
Congrats on that.
thank you.
So yeah, well, any other big noteworthy achievements since you and I last had the chance to really sit down? You want to share?
Just I think just putting myself out there and getting the clients and hopping on calls with the clients, I think is huge for me, because that's something usually I self-sabotage. In the past, I would self-sabotage, and I would chicken out right before the call, and I would make an excuse, and I wouldn't go on it, and I would lose out on that work. But I've said yes to everything so far, and I've gotten on the calls, and so far it's worked out really well. It's been really good. So the biggest things have just been getting these clients and getting opportunities to work and build that portfolio.
Well, that's great, man. Really seeing you, develop in that sense. How are you doing your call? Are you usually just doing phone calls, or have you been doing much video or anything?
They've all been
let
video.
Let people know, kind of how you're chasing around. Really, all of them. That's great.
All of them, yeah.
So you must be getting a lot more comfortable then, yeah? Are you finding that an effective channel to sell, to persuade new clients to join you?
Yeah, I think video is the most powerful thing, because you're face to face. You I guess it's easier to drive the point home, or whatever, easier to sell yourself. If you get that face to face, even though it's not in person, but if you get that face to face eye contact, I think it's easier to talk to people and to prove your case. So I'm glad I finally accepted video as an option.
It's funny, like even myself, I mean, for the longest time, I've considered myself a writer. I think that's the best medium that I, can do storytelling sort of.
Right.
But, I mean, obviously getting on phone calls like with the MasterMind group and stuff is always a blast. And like you say, like it's really, I mean, it's the next best thing after in person.
Right.
To really connect with people. But yeah, me too, like even after over a decade of running a business and like being fairly, like I don't want to talk myself up, but like I've been stopped in the street, like after so long having an online presence, I guess, like I've made myself a little bit of a, whatever, a little bit of a public personality, I suppose. Nothing major, but like even after kind of having that presence for so long, I think I told you at the beginning of this mastermind, like it's been a real struggle for me, even just getting, like I'm a behind the camera guy, that's the other. I'm a trained photographer since I was in high school, so I love shooting photos and video and video editing, but it's taken me months to kind of get comfortable and open up, even just in front of just a lone camera, because I know someone will watch it eventually.
Yeah.
But for other people that maybe kind of have that same camera shyness, what do you have what are your biggest insights you would share with people that have that similar struggle?
I think this is the biggest thing is for me at least, I thought people were just going to be super judgmental. They're going to be watching my every move, and they were going to be like put me under a microscope and, you know, just breaking me down. But it's not really like that. People are they're just like you. I think that's the biggest thing I've learned. Everybody's pretty much the same in a lot of ways when it comes to that thing, you know. I don't think there's a few people that are truly like just love being in front of the camera and just love the attention, but I think most people are kind of camera shy for the most part, and nobody's a superhero, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Is like we're all the same. We've all got the same insecurities and everything. And I think when I started realizing that, when I started remembering that, it made it a little easier to get in front of the camera and get in front of these people and talk to them.
Great, man. Well, let's see. Okay, so one more question about, you know, along these lines of your self-reflection that you've been doing lately, and the progress I guess you've made over the course of these 3 months with us. Have you, you know, you're still at the very beginning of your journey as far as your copywriting business and your services, but have you decided at this point yet, would you say, you know, who will you serve, who you're most passionate to connect with and to help? Do you have a target clientele that you've narrowed down yet, or are you still at a point where you're kind of open to the possibilities right now?
I'm still kind of open to the possibilities, but I think after our last one-on-one call, we talked a little bit about it, but I think most of the people I've already helped are actually coaches and people that are trying to help other people type thing. And a lot of them have been fitness coaches that I've worked with, but I'm working with a guy now that is, I guess you could call him a music coach. He helps young musicians, and I'm working with another, a coach who actually coaches other copywriters, which is a win-win for me to work with him and get coached by him at the same time. So I think I like to double down on the coaching. I'm not sure if I want to niche down any further than that or just coaches in general, but I want to help people that are helping people, I guess.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm all about here at the Foundry too. I think that's why we've been so aligned, you know, for the last couple of years. Okay, so yeah, what's your elevator pitch? You know, if you could say anything to at least our small audience within the Foundry, you know, we've got about 80 or 90 folks in there, many of whom are in a somewhat similar situation to you. But yeah, I mean, give just the quick soundbite. What is it that you want to help people achieve, and how can you empower people with your services?
I want to help people. I want to help people get to where they need to be. You know, as far as copywriting goes, I'm obviously not the most experienced. I don't have a huge portfolio of hundreds of clients, but I've got the same mindset, I think, as a lot of people that I want to help, and we've got the same goals and share the same vision. So I like working with people, I like helping people, and I think I over-deliver sometimes. I do too much sometimes, but that's what I like to do. That's what I like to do. Yeah, I like helping people. I think I don't like calling people clients. I like it be a partnership. I like having partnerships, not clients. You know, I want to work with people, not for people.
Very nice. Well, yeah, and you've got tenacity, man. That's the biggest thing, you know. Guys, seriously, like, if you're looking for a copywriter or someone to help with your website, yeah, Brandon is early in the game, but he's a quick study and he's got tenacity, like so much. I mean, nothing stops this dude. You literally weathered the storm, and I mean, the results that you've achieved in such a short time are just astounding. So, you know, I just want to give a shout out to you and anybody who needs help with in those areas in their own business. I definitely recommend that you speak to Brandon for sure.
Thank you. So
let's look at the future here, okay? The next 90 days at least for Q4. Have you had the chance to narrow down? We did it at the start of our Q3 mastermind, but we're going to keep on going right on through the new year up until we meet in Krabi, the second week of January. Have you gotten clearer? Can you clearly and metrically based tell me the outcome that you hope to move yourself and your family towards over these next 3 months, now that you've done so much thus far? Like, how are you going to accelerate it, and what are you aiming for now in the 4 pillars? Have you had the opportunity to write those things out?
A little bit. Carrie did this the other day, and I meant to do it.
Yeah, she did a great
around that
job
same time. Yeah, she did. But I haven't put as much thought into the next ones because I guess I've just been too caught up in the last ones.
You've been too busy working for
yeah. But I think it's my end goal is still to leave, to become independent, I guess, financially. The main goal is to go visit you guys in Thailand, to have an amazing trip in Thailand, and to not have a job to go back to. So that's the wealth one. And then for health, I just want to keep on working out and keep my health there for the kids, just to be able to run around and play and not be exhausted, and keep up with meditation for the mindset stuff, and journal, do a lot better job journaling. I was doing pretty good with that at the beginning, but I've kind of fallen off a cliff with the journaling, so I want to get back on track with that. And relationships, we're still working on the goal of 1 date night a month with Carrie. So hopefully by January we can get that to 1 a week.
That's already like a lot more than you were doing before, right?
Yeah, a lot more. Yeah, we've done a lot better.
Good. And what about in mindset and spirituality? Do you have any particular targets in that area? Like
that's
you said, meditation. Sorry.
Meditation, yeah. And I think I talked to you about the Stoic challenge I've been doing, and I don't know if it's really spiritual, but it's more of a philosophy, I guess. But I kind of want to double down on that, and just a way to think, the way to direct my mind. I think that's what's helped me a lot with getting over some of the fears I've had, some of the issues I've had, is just is stoicism. It's very practical and very straightforward. So I want to double down on that and get, like I said, get better with meditation and journaling.
That's great, man. I mean, yeah, so it's a lot of things to juggle, especially, I mean, you're still working basically full-time hours, aren't you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. At least 40 hours a week.
I mean, that's why I say Brandon is a boss. Like, it's early days as far as your business. However, you're juggling, you got a wife, you got 2 young sons, you've got a full-time job. You literally weathered the storm recently, and like you've had all kinds of crazy things going haywire around you. Yeah. And yet you've also, I mean, you've completed, what is it, 2 or 3 customer projects since we started?
I've completely finished 2, and there's one that should be finished pretty soon.
Yeah, you're almost through your 3rd already, and you've got like a roster of leads and prospects, like things coming up down the pipeline already. I mean, right. Yeah, I don't even understand, to be honest, like how you have the level of energy you have.
I'm not sure I understand it either. Thank you.
Keep going, man. You're on fire. But yeah, it's a lot of things to juggle. But and so I do the same thing. But I know I hear you. I think you're still maybe a little hypercritical of yourself. And I totally understand that, because I'm the same way. I'm always beating myself up, It's like I set like insanely lofty goals for myself, and I always fail, always. But that's also kind of, I guess, a life philosophy I've developed over the years. Like one of my earliest mentors, Ramit Sethi, actually, who started "I Will Teach You to Be Rich," but he used to say something like he had one of his file folders on his desk. He said that he would just keep there was like failures, right? And like if every week he didn't have stuff in that folder, he knew he wasn't pushing hard enough. And that approach to life can, I mean, it creates a lot of difficulties, especially with other people. But I still think like it keeps you pushing all the time.
Right.
But yeah, like I always try to encourage you to, do step back once a week and at least, recognize the achievements you've made. Like I never hit the target 100%. If I can make it 80%, then that's a phenomenal week. I'm usually more like 30 or 40%, right?
Yeah.
But at least you made forward progress, and that's what
Right.
matters. As
Right.
long as you didn't like just stagnate or fall backwards, then you're winning. So,
Right.
and especially with this whole the hero philosophy, I guess that you've been helping me develop over these several months. Like it's a big commitment, So don't lose sight of that. It's a ton of things to juggle, especially with a full-time job and a family and all the other things you have going on. But would you say that at least like having that framework, this is something that's been in development over I've been working on it for a year and a half or so at least, but it's kind of the first time I've shared it and deployed it with others, working with you and Dwight primarily.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say at least having that framework has been helpful for you? Like, have you found any flaws in that 4 pillars mindset, or has it been at least somewhat helpful for you to like maintain balance or to formulate your goals and maybe even daily tasks?
Yes, it's been very helpful, because I think, especially when you're doing things like trying to start a new business and balance everything in your life, you might go all in on the business and then your health suffers, or go all in on working out and then your business suffers, or you neglect your family or things like that. So I think having the 4 pillars that you look at every single day and that you refresh every 3 months keeps everything in perspective. You don't lose sight of anything, and everything gets the attention it needs. So it's definitely been very helpful for me. I think it's helped me a lot in balancing everything and keeping everything straight and not losing sight.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. I mean, I do feel free. Constructive criticism is helpful, but I'm glad to hear that it's been useful. Yeah, it took me a long time to like. I was, frankly, I've just been looking like since I became a father.
Mm-hmm.
I just had this deep-seated feeling, and pretty much all my experience has continually reinforced it. But I knew that like the world is not going to provide a framework for him for success. I mean, like there's a lot of things that you can get and find out there, but particularly going through, I mean, even the best education system in the world, right? The U.S. education system. There's a lot of positives. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But people tend not to even learn how to balance a checkbook, right?
Yeah. Right.
And so I knew that nobody is gonna really provide a framework for success, and so like that's why it became so important to me to figure this out. I mean, number one, for myself, because my life was really not in order when that kind of fell in my lap, when parenthood became a reality for me, and I knew I had to get my own act together to be the best father I can be. Mm-hmm. But also, I'm just praying all along the way that I can turn this into something eventually that I hope will at least give some guidance, point the direction for him one day as a supplement to whatever else he's doing, just as a means to like provide, like, at least this is what I've figured out, son, like take it and make it your own. But yeah, it took me 3 years. I was looking for like the blueprint, and there is no one size fits all, but I looked at, to be honest, I looked at the major religions, like what does Christianity teach? What does Buddhism teach? Like what are the main areas of life that are important to maintain, and the skills that are important to develop, and and then I looked at all kinds of personal development systems and programs. I mean, I've been through everything, just about.
Yeah.
You know, and I've hired my own coaches, and I've had many great mentors along the way. But predominantly, I was always looking for, yeah, like how, like Bruce Lee says, you know, like how to minimize and I forget the quote, but he says, you know, like take
Right.
away, don't add to it, like take away. So like,
Right.
what's the
Right. Right. Right.
simplest, most straightforward, like idiot-proof
Right.
framework for living? And you know, at first I formulated like these 5 steps towards what I originally, yeah, I thought like freedom was what I was aiming at. But finally, you know,
Right.
just for anyone who's not really been deeply involved in this, yeah, the 4 pillars that I eventually narrowed it down to, you know, in my parlance, in my language, they are, you know, mindset is what I here. Well, I know real quick, I'll try to break it down. You know, I eventually got to the point where this is how it works in my head. It starts within, starts like between your ears, you know, the gray matter you got. You know, you I think one's life, one's circumstances, one's results are a reflection of your own, you know, your self-image, I guess, your
Mm-hmm.
identity, and yeah, what you believe is possible or what you believe
Right.
you're here for. So, you know, they're all equally important, really, but I do think it kind of starts deep within, you know, and so I still am trying to narrow down precisely what the best way to communicate that idea is, because for some, that's like it's spirituality. I like to call it mindset just to keep it open, because I mean, I'm not pushing any particular worldview or you know, religious belief. This is open to everybody, but yeah, you've got to decide for yourself, like how are you going to orient yourself with the world around
Right.
you? What do you believe about the world? Yeah, who you are, what you're here for, what's important to you. So that, you know, that's the first pillar is mindset, and then I think it kind of your results flow from there. Then you know you've got your body, which is what carries you around. You know, so you've got health is the second pillar. You know, it's fitness and diet and nutrition and taking good care of your meat vehicle that will get you through this life as long as you can keep alive. That's very important. So we got mindset, health, and then the third pillar is wealth. You know, for some that entails business, career, your finances. But yeah, the material things that you're able to manifest essentially, you know, around you for your own use and, you know, for your business, how you're able to reinvest in whatever it is you're doing and what you're able to provide for a family or for whoever matters to you. And that's why I put relationship last, because it's like you got to take care of yourself first and know who you
Right.
are and your role in the world and what you're aiming at. And you got to really focus on like being as good to yourself as you can. So
Right.
hopefully you'll last a long time here. And you've got to be able to, yeah, put food on the table ideally and a roof over your head. And then you can kind of incorporate other people into your life, you know, and uh, I guess, yeah, take other people into consideration and provide in different ways, whether it's for your kids, your wife, or extended family, or friends, or customers, or employees, or just, you know, your tribe. So it's mindset, health, wealth, and then relationships. And you know, I'm still searching for, like, if there's something that doesn't fall into one of those categories, I really would love to know. Like, so uh, anyone who watches, like, give me feedback. I want to refine this system and make sure that it makes sense and it does kind of, I mean, nothing is all encompassing, but I really, after testing this to death with you guys the last 3 months, especially, I think that, you know, I've seen, it's funny because the warrior program I went through, my mentor and good friend Ian Borders got me switched on to this Wake Up Warrior. And funny enough, this guy Garrett J. White, the founder of Warrior, I mean, they're on another level, man. But you know, I was reading his book, and it's like he's got the same system. You know, he calls it something different, but it's
Right.
essentially those same 4 basic pillars. You know, and as like Brandon knows well by now, but I do think, you know, and it's in the Bible. If you look for it, it's in Buddhism. It's like I guess you know, nothing nothing that we're doing. Like I didn't invent any of this stuff.
Right.
It's there to be discovered, I guess. But I am trying to synthesize and pull together a ton of pieces into a system that I hope will. I mean, it's helped me just since I started living my own life by this framework, because I got to admit, like especially traveling, for years. I mean, it's easy to get caught up in what just the events of the day, and like, oh, my friends are doing this or they're doing that. I want to go here. I want to jump over there. I want to go party. I want to go drink. Or it's like it's easy to fall off the rails, and I did that. But I mean, the biggest thing, especially for business owners and entrepreneurs and anybody who's like responsible for themselves, especially if you got a family until, is like how do you? I mean, like I said earlier, you don't have anybody telling you what to do. So the hardest challenge I have continually found is like, I mean, at least 8 out of 10 days I wake up. I used to wake up and I don't know, what to, I don't even know what I'm focusing on half the time, and I mean, I know a lot of people who are like that. They've become just reactive to whatever comes through their email inbox on a daily basis or whatever opportunities just present themselves. And I mean, it's important, like I'm all about, being open to the opportunities that life presents as well, but I don't want to discourage that. But yeah, the purpose, my intent was I got to find a way to organize a insanely chaotic life that I had developed over 10 years, traveling all over the world, having friends and clients on 5 continents, and like being involved in too many things, and like having 1,000 spinning plates. And it was just like, how do I eventually? I got to a place, and I've seen it with many other people, where it just became so chaotic and so disorganized that I lost control of everything, and eventually it all started to spiral and fall apart. So it took me years, but finally I was like, I crafted this approach, this mental model at least, of like, okay, there's 4 pillars, and thus far I really think that it pretty much everything important does seem to kind of fall into at least one of those categories, and it gives a really simple overview, at least, of like you've got these 4 important areas to take care of. And like you said before, I mean, before I had developed and employed a system like that, there were times when I would do nothing but business for months, like 3 months straight, maybe even for a year, and there have been times I've made great money, like I can make that happen. But I would ignore my poor family, or I mean, I got sciatica and I was a chain smoker and all these, I wasn't taking care of my body at all. And one day I woke up and I realized, like, holy crap, like I was in chronic pain and in the hospital, all kinds of things, I thought I was having a heart attack one morning. But, so it was like obvious, like, well, I can't ignore that, can I? But then, there were times when, okay, I got serious about taking good care of my health, but I thought that I had to like be in the gym all the time and like to do it effectively. It came at the expense of being able to give attention to the other areas of life as well. Or whatever, you can become obsessed with any one of these things, right? And that's what most people do, I think. That's the pattern I see oftentimes. Most people are phenomenal in one of those 4 areas. Right? Like by default, like it tends to be that one of those kind of just comes naturally to us, or it's just like our biggest or skill set, whatever. And that's great. But I do think that like having this, it's like the four corners, the 4 legs of a table, or like I've told you guys before, it's like if you can think of it as building a house or a temple, or your castle, right? You got to have 4 corners at least, right? 4 load-bearing corners, and build as high as you can from there. But I do think that it's the simplest structure I could come up with to organize and yeah, conceive my life, my responsibilities, and yeah, I mean it is virtually impossible to keep them all up constantly, but at least it's a good constant reminder to balance and to those things and to have specific targets in each of those areas. So I'm you along for the ride and help me refine this system, and I'm glad to hear that it's going to help for you. So with all that in mind for the viewers, one other question I'm interested for you, have you at this point, have you crafted like a daily game for yourself by now where, like, are there any particular things in those areas that you do on at least an almost daily basis just to kind of keep yourself even keel?
Yeah, I don't always keep up with it, obviously, but I do. I like to, for health, I try to work out every other day, and then I like to try to meditate every morning before I do anything, and then right after meditation, I like to at least write in a gratitude journal just to say what I'm grateful for, because I think that has a huge impact on just your mindset and how you look at the world. So I try to do that every day, then the workout every other day, and then I try to have a just a power hour where I isolate myself here in the office and try to just work on the business for at least an hour a day. In a perfect world, that would happen every day and happen every other day, but it doesn't always happen. But if you get close, I think you're doing pretty good.
Yeah, man. Again, like I said, it's like it's almost never perfect, right?
Right.
But at least if you're hitting, I mean, if you're getting 50% of the way there, you're doing better than 99% of people.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I do similarly. You know, on an ideal, when things do work out perfectly, which is almost never. But yeah, I love to similarly, like, I'll start with yeah, mindset. You know, and typically, you know, I cycle through different exercises or practices, but yeah, I love to do either some kind of journaling, gratitude practice, or meditation, or prayer. That's something I've been trying to kind of learn and practice more. But you know, yeah, just working on my inner game, I guess, as I call it, and like connection to whatever you believe is like our higher purpose, and thinking about why I'm here and what I'm aiming at. You know, I love to do that every morning, and I love to move my body and do something physical. And I crafted my own, I call it a hero wad. You know, kind of my own morning fitness routine I do. And if I get those two things in as early as possible in the morning, like sometimes it does, I gotta say, like it often rolls over into around noon or early afternoon. But yeah, if I start my day with those, like that just fuels me with power that then I can really channel into, you know, the wealth pillar, business and work, and then hopefully kind of gear down, you know, at some point by late afternoon or evening, and really focus my attention on family and relationships. So yeah, I hope that that's been a valuable tool and approach for you guys this several months too.
Definitely has.
Well, let's see. Thanks for sharing all this, man. I really appreciate you doing a deep dive and sharing your experience. Is there anything else that you'd love to share, you know, within the Foundry with people that are, you know, taking their first steps into our program, whether about what you've learned or what you're working on, or I mean, any outside resources or tools that you recommend for people? But yeah, is there any, you know, final parting words or insights that you'd like to share before we end the recording?
I think for me, I think the easiest thing for anyone to do is if you're just starting out like I was, I think the best thing you can do is surround yourself with other people that will keep you accountable and will lift you up when you do good, and will put you back on track when you're slacking off. And I think a lot of people overlook the power of those relationships, and I definitely did. I like to isolate myself and that type of thing. But just having just the weekly calls and the weekly progress report has done wonders for me, and I highly recommend it. It doesn't have to be anything official like that, but if you just have a friend or two you can talk to every once in a while on a semi-regular basis, I think it'll make a world of difference for you. If there's one thing I'll recommend, it would be that.
Well, yeah, man. As I said earlier too, yeah, it's during the times of my life when I haven't kept up a mastermind group. Those have been the times when those 4 areas of my life have suffered for it. And it's been a great pleasure and an honor to have you, in my inner circle these last several months, and I'm really excited to have you continuing on with us. So anyone out there, you can look up a mastermind, look up the word mastermind. It's something I think was originally kind of thought up by, I believe, Napoleon Hill. And that's where I kind of first picked up on it, back in 2005 or 6. I think it was it How to Win Friends and Influence People? Have you read that one,
I think
Brandon?
so, yeah.
I think that's the book that goes into it. But, you search it out, there's a lot of tools and worksheets and frameworks out there. And, it's something you guys can kind of formulate your own approach and put together your own groups. And I highly encourage that, especially within the Foundry. But anyone who wants to consider joining our inner circle group here within the Foundry, we'd love to have you. So get in touch. Brandon and Dwight and I are going to carry on doing this for the next three months for Q4, leading into the new year. And then, as we say, we're all going to be meeting together in person out here in Thailand, January 7th, which I cannot wait for. This is it's my 6th retreat that I have put on, and we got great partners out there in Robbie that I've worked with many times before. We actually have a brand new hotel that Wolfgang kind of consulted me. He was like, okay, you can have, your ideal retreat center and hotel. You got my feedback as they were planning this place. He's building 2, but he's building his own. He's a longtime hotelier who's from Australia, and he's got places in Germany, Australia, Thailand, but he's building his own 2 hotels in his retirement, and I'm really psyched to see what they've been building. I think it's opening in a month, but brand new place. It's Krabi, Thailand. I believe it's 35 countries. It may be a few more, but it's about 35 countries I've traveled thus far over the last 10 years. And I got to say, in all honesty, Krabi is my favorite place on earth still. As gorgeous as this is, Riley Beach. So I'm going to take you to my favorite place, Brandon. Your son's going to love it. We're going to go. I'm going to push you hard. We'll probably leave the family behind a little bit, and us dudes will go do some difficult stuff. We're gonna go sea kayaking and climbing, caving, and really push ourselves and do some death-defying stunts with a good trainer friend of mine who knows the backcountry like the back of his hand out there. And I'm super excited and really glad to have you guys on board. If anyone wants to join us, I'm sure we'll be promoting that more soon, but you know where to reach me if you're within the Foundry, so don't hesitate to reach out directly, and I'd love to chat with you guys. We'll have a few more joining us. I'm looking forward to hopefully getting Ian Borders down there, and a couple. You guys will definitely get to meet a few of my kind of most influential mentors. Nice. I can't wait, Brandon, to see you in Bangkok soon, just after the new year. And man, it's really been a good time. Just seeing you guys on a weekly basis and watching you grow and build this new business in record time and blossom as a man, as a father, as a salesman.
Thank you.
And it's pretty soon here we'll get the chance to go, friendly competition. It's not going to be anything too intense, but definitely push ourselves physically a bit, and yeah, and share, I think, some of our, I hope we'll get a chance, you know, through that real face-to-face bonding to just get real with each other in a way that people rarely do these days, and hopefully talk about, you know, like just what matters most to us and our place in the world and how we want to transform our surroundings for the better. So I'm really honored to have you as part of that, Brandon, again, and thank you so much for sharing your journey thus far. And I'm really excited to welcome you for a physical travel journey out here very soon.
Yeah. Thank you. It's been a great 3 months. I can't wait to meet you in Thailand, and I can't wait to get pushed to the edge, and I'm looking forward to all of it. Thank you for your kind words throughout the call. You did a better job of selling me than I did, so thank you for that. I can't wait to see you in Thailand.
Yeah, me too, buddy. Real quick, do you have you know, a go-to place online yet where people can find you, or if, you know, is there any particular social media or any link that you would want to send people to if they're interested to connect with you or learn more about what you're doing?
Probably, I'm working on a little website, a little personal website for my services right now, but that's not up and running yet. So, Facebook, I'm active on a little bit, not as much as I used to be, but Instagram is where I spend most of my time as far as social networks go. So Instagram would be the place to find me right now. And it's just at Hey Brandon.
Yeah, awesome. Well, yeah, we'll include some links for folks so they can track you down. All right, buddy. Well, yeah, thanks for doing a deep dive with me and sharing your story. It's been really good, and yeah, thank you again for going through this process and being the guinea pig of it, and providing lots of great, important feedback. And it's just been really cool to finally share this, and you know, yeah, hopefully provide a lot of value to others for the first time with what I've been tinkering on in the background for the last couple of years. So.
Yeah, pleasure's been all mine. I've enjoyed every minute of it.
Thank you, Brandon. Thanks for sharing. See you guys.
Thank you. Thank you, Cody.